Welcome back, students. As in our previous session, we had discussed the causes for the First War of Independence. We shall now move in to the consequences of the war. The consequences of the war. The very first point here speaks about the end of company's rule. Not only the first point, in fact, you can see here it was also end of Mughals and the Peshwas. And there was a very important proclamation, that was Queen Victoria's proclamation. To begin with, the first point of end of company's rule. This was the most significant result, and it was done by the government of India Act of 1858. It had some provisions under this act. This act said that it transferred the power to govern India from the East India Company to the British Crown. That is, it was no more with the hands of the East India Company. It was now given away to the British Crown. The authority over India was earlier in the hands of the directors of the company and the board of control, but now the power was to be exercised by the Secretary of State for India, which was aided by a council. Okay, then we have Queen Victoria's proclamation. Proclamation is nothing but announcement. The Queen's proclamation, that is incorporating the transfer of governance from the East India Company to the British Crown, was made public in 1858 by Lord Canning at Allahabad. This proclamation again promised the government that it will treat all the subjects. Subjects here is all about Indians and Europeans as equal. That is, both Indians and Europeans will be treated equal, and it will follow a policy of non-intervention in social and religious matters of Indians. It will also promote works of public utility in India and will ensure the material as well as the moral progress of the people. Next we have end of Mughals and Peshwas. As we had earlier seen in the causes, under one particular cause we had discussed about a point, that was disrespect shown to Bahadur Shah, the last Mughal ruler. So it speaks that after the death of Bahadur Shah, the Mughal dynasty was brought to an end, and the last Peshwa, that was Nana Sahib, had flew to Nepal after the failure of the uprising. So the office of the Peshwa had also come to an end. So two of the most formidable foes of the British, they were the Marathas and the Mughals, had come to an end. Apart from these, one major consequence was some changes in the army. Again, in the military causes, we had discussed about the strength. In the military causes, we could see that there were the Indian soldiers were ill treated, and they had bleak prospects. But right now, here in the changes, what were the changes? The strength of European troops was now increased. It was the ratio of European to Indian troops was fixed at 1:2 and 2:5. Why two different ratios? 1:2 was Bengal Army, and 2:5 was Madras and Bombay armies. So practically the same ratio was maintained till the very First World War. And the general principle adopted was that the number of Indian sepoys or soldiers should not exceed twice of the European troops. Not only this, these European troops were kept in key geographical and military positions. Okay. In order to discourage nationalism, measures such as introduction of caste and community in most regiments were also taken. Newspapers, journals, and nationalist publications, they were also prevented from reaching the soldiers to keep the Indian army separated from the life of rest of the population. These were the few important consequences. No doubt we do have some more consequences in your text, but then I feel these important consequences would be enough for you to go through. Now, as we have covered the first chapter according to ICSE syllabus, that is the causes and the consequences of the war, here I come with a short assignment for you. Here in the assignment, you do have a few textual questions as well as some extra questions. The questions are followed by the answers. I request you to go through the question answers and do make it a point to write them in your classwork copy. I guess, yeah, there are 12 questions. You may please note them in your classwork copy. I hope it's clear. If not, you can screenshot to it. And next we'll see you for the next chapter. Thank you.